Hey everyone, Craig here. Just wanted to give a little disclaimer before this episode gets underway. As you'll hear during the show, we actually recorded this on Monday night, so the news of the Zeke suspension does come down during the episode, so we are able to go over Morris and McFadden a little bit, as we go through the show. But all the crazy trades that happened on Tuesday, Ajayi going to the Eagles and Kelvin Benjamin going to the Bills, we didn't have that information yet, obviously, so we will talk about them. I think both of them a little bit just on their ranks, but that has changed already since then. If you want our up-to-date rankings, just go to fantasyfootballprophet.com. We already have them updated on the website, or you can go even on our Instagram. We post our rankings there at Fantasy Football Prophet. So check both of those spots out if you want to hear or see what we think about how you should play Ajayi or Benjamin going forward here. So just check those out, and we'll get right on to the show.
Welcome to the Fantasy Football Prophet Podcast, hosted by Craig Phillips and Jeff Torrey. Visit us at fantasyfootballprophet.com. And now your hosts, Craig and Jeff.
Welcome everyone to the Fantasy Football Prophet Podcast. I'm Craig Phillips, joined as always by Jeff Torrey. Here we got a little Week 9 ranking show. We're actually going to put them all into one episode this week. Go quarterbacks, running backs, wide receivers, tight ends. Go through all of our rankings here. Before we do that, go make sure you check us out on Twitter at the FF Prophet or Instagram, Fantasy Football Prophet. You can always go to the website too, fantasyfootballprophet.com, where we'll have all our rankings up there as they'll change through the week, as we find out more news as we go. So make sure you guys check that out. All right, Jeff, let's just go to quarterbacks right away because this is interesting this week, I think. I don't know your ranks. We haven't gone over this. If anybody's listening for the first time, we learn each other's ranks on the air, basically. So I have a feeling, though, yours are a little bit different, too, this week. Who's your number one guy? I think there's a couple options, but who's number one?
Number one for the first time for me is Deshaun Watson.
I had a feeling it was going to be Watson this week.
Yeah.
And it's a good matchup, and he's just been really good. And I mean, there's no Brady this week, but even if Brady was out there, I'm starting to think these guys have passed him up, the Watson types. Watson, for me, is number two. He's my number two. I have a different number one.
Oh, let me guess.
Let's take a guess. See if you can figure this out.
My guess is Russell Wilson.
It is Russell Wilson.
I knew because you have him on your teams.
So, Russell Wilson. Hey, there's a reason I have him on my teams. This isn't just like bias talking here. I liked Russell Wilson heading into the year. I thought Russell Wilson's a great quarterback. And he's been helped by the fact that Seattle cannot run the ball at all. So all they got to do is pass. It benefits any Russell Wilson owners.
Yeah, and he has been torching everyone. And so is Watson. So, 1 and 2 will flip-flop for us.
Maybe, people say this is a little reactionary to the game the other day, but they've both been great. And it's not like the quarterback list is weird. It's strange here. Who's number 3? Is this more normal or?
Yeah. I went Drew Brees at number 3 against Tampa, who has been struggling.
I went Brees as well, number 3. Tampa's been a poor pass defense, so I kept Brees number 3. My number 4 this week, I went Dak Prescott, number 4. Where'd you put Dak?
Dak is at number 5 for me.
Okay, so right around there. Who's your number 4 then?
Number 4 is Alex Smith.
And Alex Smith's my number 5. So there we go. Same top 5 guys, just a slightly different order.
And they are by far the weirdest number. I mean, Drew Brees is the only, and I guess you could say Russell Wilson to a certain degree, the only ones I ever thought would be in that top 5 discussion this year.
It's crazy to me that this is the way the list works. But this is a good thing to look at and remember, like next year when you're drafting, and follow the wait on quarterback and don't pay for quarterback strategy. Because who of these guys did you had to pay for Brees? Really, that's about it. Russell Wilson, you didn't really have to pay for very much. It was a little bit elevated maybe compared to some of the other guys, but you didn't have to pay for these guys.
No,
and
you're talking, and even farther down. I mean, we have obviously. I'll just jump to him. But I have him at number 7 just because of the defense he's going against Denver. So Carson Wentz, but he would be a top 5 guy, and you definitely didn't have to pay for him either. So once again, you look farther down and you see a lot of familiar names that just haven't gotten it done this year.
I put Wentz 6. I'm not as scared of Denver's D as I used to be. They're not ranked number 1 anymore. They're not even top 5, I believe, against fantasy against quarterbacks, with the point scoring, but they're still great.
Yeah.
But I'm just not as scared off. And the fact that I don't like a lot of these players after this kind of, helps in that. So I went 6. You went him 7. So who was your 6th?
I have Stafford going against Green Bay.
I went Stafford 8, and I put Kirk Cousins 7, even going against Seattle. You think that's worry about that, but then look at Watson just did to them. So maybe not worry quite as much. But Cousins is going to have some down weeks. But it's tough here. So where'd you put Cousins?
I have Cousins at number 10.
All right. So who are the other players in the top 10 then here?
So Stafford 6, Wentz at 7, like we talked about. I have Cam at 8. He's been up and down, but kind of have to even it out. That's why he ends at 8. And then I do have Matt Ryan at number 9. He's been consistent. He hasn't been great, but I feel like this is kind of where he ends up. And then obviously Cousins to round it out because he goes against Seattle. Otherwise, I'd probably prop him up a little bit because I do think last week weather really hampered him, and the weeks before that he has been getting consistently better and better. So,
yeah, I have Jameis at number 9 and Cam Newton number 10, Matt Ryan number 11. Then I'll say something. Mariota 12, Derek Carr 13, Josh McCown hits 14 for me, and then Tyrod Taylor 15.
I have McCown at number 12. So
he's been good. I mean, you can't deny that he's putting up points every week, and a lot of these it gets ugly. I think after this, I don't know what to think. I'm not even going to worry about beyond 15 because it's just kind of you're taking a chance, big time chance if you have to. Some of these guys. Derek Carr, where do you have Carr? He had one good week since he came back from his injury. I mean, and he's had 2 bad weeks.
I have him at number 14, one spot above Mariota, actually. And those two, I like both of those guys. But, the guys above him, Tyrod going against the Jets, McCown, Winston, then you hit the top 10. It's just not a lot of room, and they haven't given me a whole lot of reason to trust them at the moment. So they've just been consistently sliding down my scale here.
Yep. Really, honestly, once you get it's with the buys, it hurts the ranks, but it's strange the way the quarterback position has worked. But I think this is telling you don't spend. This is the lesson. Learn this now when you think you have a sure thing next year, when you don't really. Just look at the players maybe that people might have spent something on. Not a lot, but Matt Ryan, even Derek Carr got a little bit of love there. Mm-hmm. And they're barely, Matt Ryan's barely in your top 10, not in my top 10, and Carr's out of it. So, and it's just wait on quarterback.
I do have to say, the ones that you pay for, though, you're kind of paying for consistency over, they don't have to be number 1, but, you kind of got a raw deal. So even Brady has been consistent, Breeze has been consistent, and then Aaron Rodgers gets hurt. So, it's not the end of the world, but you see these guys like Wilson, Watson, and Alex Smith just light it on fire, and all of those guys were very easily attainable on the waiver wire. So, you can pay for it, or you can just be diligent on that waiver wire.
All right, let's talk about some running backs here. All right, so little disclaimer: this is Monday night. We're actually recording this. We're finishing up this episode. We have to make that. We have to make that disclaimer here. We had to record a day early on this one because Zeke. We don't know exactly what's going to happen tonight.
I was going to say, and what did we just hear?
It looks like this came down. It looks like the decision should be made tonight. And so, who knows? We might actually get the decision before we finalize this episode, which would be nice. But anyway, our ranks will change, on the website and on Instagram and all that kind of stuff. It'll change as we go here. So you'll get up-to-date ranks. So where do you have Zeke if he plays?
I have him at number 1.
And so do I. Number 1.
They've been just giving him the ball like crazy.
Maybe they know that he's not going to play the full year.
No, I think so. I do have to admit, I picked up McFadden in one of our leagues, the main one actually, after dropping him and picking him up. But I'm kind of, I think that he has to miss time this year. I would be very, very shocked if he didn't. But I don't know. He's too good. He's just too good not to put number 1. Yep. I don't care any distractions or anything like that.
We won't dwell on it too much because we could spend all this time talking about a player who's not even playing this week.
Yeah.
All right, so we'll round out your top 5. What do you got?
All right, I got, and these are the usual suspects. That's pretty much where I landed. So I have Elliott number 1, Hunt number 2, McCoy, who had a great last week. Nice to see him bounce back a little bit. Todd Gurley at number 4, and then Fournette. And there's other guys down there that I could have put up there, but I went a little more tried and true instead of, instead of a couple of these guys that have only had a week or, been a little inconsistent. How about you?
Yeah, I went Hunt number 2, Gurley number 3, McCoy 4, Fournette 5.
Oh, so we have the exact same.
And
okay. I was wondering, and I have him number 6. Do you have Ingram? Where do you have him?
Number 6.
Oh, okay. So he was another guy that I thought easily could have jumped up there because him and really Kamara have been playing well.
Yeah.
So against that Tampa Bay team, I thought he could have slipped in there, but I didn't quite put him up there.
All right, so what's the rest then of your top 10?
I have Ingram, Devontae Freeman, even though, last week was a little rough. I have Doug Martin, Lamar Miller, because he goes against Indianapolis. I always like to put that because I hate Lamar Miller. And then I actually have AP after that.
All right, so I went with Devontae Freeman at 7, Lamar Miller 8, Doug Martin 9, number 10, Aaron Jones.
Oh, all right.
Way up the board, maybe. I think it's his backfield completely. I think that Ty Montgomery is just going to get a minor share of the backfield and at this point. It's just the feeling I've been getting. Jones has looked really good on 2 games now, and Montgomery really hasn't looked that good all year. I think this is Aaron Jones' backfield, so I'm putting him way up there. I'm really banking on number 10.
I like that. I mean, I wouldn't go as far as Montgomery hasn't looked good, but I think without him getting the majority of the snaps, I think that his playing style, his points take a huge hit. So I kind of like that because I think Aaron Jones is a much truer running back, and without Aaron Rodgers, I think that it's just a better offense suited for him now.
I put Adrian Peterson 11. He didn't have a good week in week 7, but obviously great in week 6? Mm-hmm. After the bye week, yeah.
That was going to
San Francisco. Should be pretty good. So, Jeff, do you have Alvin Kamara 11? Or where's
Kamara?
12. Okay, I have Kamara 12 as well. So, again, it's weird to have. We have a New Orleans running back 6, right? And 12. We both have the same. What is up with that?
And then we have the very recently traded Adrian Peterson, who was a Saint.
Yeah.
In
that's
the 10
crazy.
or 11.
Then who's, let's see, you had.
I have Ajayi at number 11, so that's the one we skipped in between. And he has been, I wish I could put him lower, but I don't have the guts yet. I really feel like he's talented enough to bounce back, but that offense has been so struggling.
I have him 14th.
Yeah, I think.
And I did at this point. And the problem is you're probably playing him.
Yeah,
if you have your team, we're ranking him that you're going to play him, and you're going to play him. So even us ranking him down here, what's that really do? It doesn't make. It's not a decision to make. It's just I'm going to put him down there. I put C.J. Anderson ahead of him at 13, and a lot of these guys. The problem is again, there's no sure things here. There's nothing. There's absolutely no sure things at this list. I mean, I don't even know where. Let's just say the top 20 here. So I'll go my top 20. I said Kamara's 12, Anderson 13, Ajayi 14, DeMarco Murray's 15, Chris Thompson 16, Carlos Hyde, LeGarrette Blount, Joe Mixon, and Christian McCaffrey, which I don't even like at 20. It's just he's working the passing game. It's still a chance that he didn't get anything rushing last week, but he makes my top 20 right now, and I don't like it. But what do you got?
I have, after Kamara at 12, I have DeMarco Murray, I have Aaron Jones at 14, Carlos Hyde at 15, Chris Thompson, C.J. Anderson, Alex Collins at 18, Joe Mixon, and then I round mine out with Tevin Coleman.
All right. Yeah, and I put Collins 21. I've got to see another week from him, but it's ugly, isn't it, at this point? I mean, it's an ugly list. You don't feel good about anybody right here, do you? These are running back 2s, and you don't feel good about it. I don't feel good about it.
No, yeah, and when Alvin Kamara can make number 12, a backup to a passing team, really, that's when you know that the running back situation has gotten pretty dire for some of these guys. And it's hard to believe, too, because, I mean, I have, like, Joe Mixon, right? And they're going against Jacksonville. But at number 19, and I feel like that's probably appropriate where to put him, but he's the number 1 running back there, really. And, certain teams are just really not getting it going. And then, I don't know. It gets really rough. Do you have Ty Montgomery, because you're so high in Aaron Jones, where do you have him?
27th.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess that's decently high, but I'm down on him compared to Aaron Jones at this point. And I don't know. I don't think Ty Montgomery's. I think it's his backfield. I think he lost his backfield. I think it's tough. He got injured, lost the backfield, but I think he did. And the crazy thing is, before that injury, Aaron Jones was the 3rd running back. He was the 3rd stringer behind Jamal Williams, too. It's just crazy how things can change so quickly. But What about Marshawn Lynch coming back from suspension? Are you done with him? I am, honestly. I just don't. I was
going to say, are you
not
completely
done.
done?
26th.
Okay, I have him 23.
Yeah.
I think with him, I think it was pretty apparent that they kind of missed a big body running back.
Yep.
I don't know if he's really going to do anything, but, once again, he gets pretty dire down here. The only person that I can maybe... I guess there's a few. I have him 26 and 27 back-to-back, but Blount going against Denver, which is a rough matchup, but he could easily get a touchdown. I think he could be a little higher on my list. And then Marlon Mack, which I have him and Gore almost like, right next to each other. But I at this point, I kind of think that they're very similar in their production. I mean, where do you have Marlon Mack?
I have Mack 29th, Gore 28th.
Okay, that's hilarious. I have 27th, 28th.
Okay, I'm going to put them next to each other. Any kind of these situations, that's what ends up happening.
Yep.
They get grouped together until you see a reason not to group them together. I hope Marlon Mack take this over. He's my guy. I mean, if you listen, I think you kind of realize that at this point. Marlon Mack, I'm a big believer in him, and just please trade Frank Gore away. Maybe he's already traded as you're listening to this. Hopefully, if he was, Marlon Mack's going to be like 20th for me. So hopefully he gets traded. Do
you have any guys down the list that you could see them possibly being an interesting pick if people are kind of hurting?
Let me see here. Down the list, not really. It's all ugly. I hate it. It's not good. I'm still maybe interested possibly to see what Darkwa does. He had the great game in what week were we looking at? Week 6, was it? And then week 7, he was back down to not doing much on a bye week. So I'm interested what he does. I put him at 30. I'm just I want to see if there's possibly anything there, which I don't really think there is, but I think he's better than Gallman. I was hoping for more from Gallman, but he hasn't shown too much. So maybe Darkwa could be interesting. Buck Allen again is always interesting down there if you really need a play. Like we talk about Collins, but I don't think Allen's going away. He had double-digit carries too. So and Wendell Smallwood, even though he's going against Denver, he's always an interesting play. It's just there's not a lot of good plays down here. There really isn't in this list. Robert Kelly against Seattle, I don't expect much. Maybe Theo Riddick against Green Bay. He's been still doing okay. It's just I don't like it. I don't like any of these plays. If you really need a desperation move, it's going to get ugly quick. It's even looking way down the list. There's nobody I'd be moving up and liking right now. I don't know about you, but nothing that even I'm like, oh yeah, I can see a path to it because I really don't on a lot of these guys.
Yeah, no, I was looking for anyone that I can kind of grasp onto, but not really. I mean, Robert Kelly is 33. He's going against Seattle, which is not a great one at Seattle. But, once again, he's a starter. He's going to probably be a little lower on these ranking lists, but he's probably playable.
All right, let's just move over to wide receivers because that got ugly quick. It really did. So wide receivers, I think I have a feeling who your number one is. It's probably a guy you haven't had number one yet this year.
Very true. Yeah.
DeAndre Hopkins.
It is, yeah.
And what a game last week, though. And going against Indianapolis, Deshaun Watson just going to throw the ball up to him. I mean, what's not to like? It's great to see him. We always thought he was talented. We just didn't know what he could do. And going into the year, probably didn't rank him as high as we should have because we thought it was just going to be Tom Savage throwing the ball to him.
Yeah.
Even Watson, we didn't know Watson would do this. But can you believe at one point that they thought Tom Savage might have been a better quarterback than Deshaun Watson after seeing this?
Yeah. I mean, you never really know how they're going to perform until they play. But he's just more of a dynamic, player. And the top rushing quarterback in the league at the moment too. So, whatever.
It just makes everything better.
Yeah, exactly.
And okay, before we get the rest of them, what about Will Fuller? Let's talk about Houston. Where's Will Fuller? Like, what do you do with him? He's only hit 13 catches on the year.
Yeah, I got to find the guy. Actually, I'm very high on him. I have him number 14.
So do I.
Do you really?
I do have exactly number 14.
So the thing about him is, he hasn't had a lot of catches, but he's just been absolutely killing it. They keep throwing the ball. He keeps catching touchdowns, but even without, he's been getting decent amount of yardage. So I don't think he's like necessarily a big player bust kind of guy at the moment. The only thing I do hesitate with, even though I do have Watson number 1, Hopkins number 1, they have such a great matchup, but I'm worried that they're playing such a bad team that they won't have to throw like they have been against Seattle and these other teams where they get behind.
Very true.
So it's a very good possibility, even though they have a great matchup, that you could see a little bit more of a conservative approach, and this could hurt everyone's numbers. And I do worry about that.
I agree. I definitely agree. I said like last night, we are going to get a game where Deshaun Watson does nothing, or it's a very low score. It's going to happen. I'm not saying more than one time, but it's going to happen one of these times. It might lose you a week. I think it's going to happen. He's still a rookie. He can't continue what he's been doing. So watch for that, and you can't predict it. So you just play him and hope that you overcome it if he does have that 1 week. All right. So what about 2 through, let's say 5, 6? Got the usual suspects there, probably.
Yep, I do.
I go Julio 2. I go Mike Evans 3, Dez 4, AJ Green 5, and Michael Thomas 6.
Yeah, I mean, I almost zoned out for a moment. I think you have the exact same thing I do. And like Julio number 2, I do have there, and he hasn't been doing anything spectacular.
No, not really.
Mike Evans, Tampa Bay, I have him number 3. But they've both been consistent, right? You get like 80 yards out of them, but both quarterbacks have been kind of struggling a little bit. I would have had Dez and AJ above him, obviously, but Dez number 4 at KC, a decent defense, and then AJ going against Jacksonville. Otherwise, I would love to put him at number 2. And then Michael Thomas, it really is the end of kind of the tier, if you will.
Yep.
And once again, just another guy that gets about 80 yards and calls it quits.
Yep.
But all 6 of those guys, I think Hopkins is, and that's why Hopkins is number 1, even with me having that kind of background feeling that it's going to be a little lower scoring of a game than we've seen recently out of them. But I think he has the best opportunity to get over 100 yards. And these other guys will probably be a little more touch and go and probably get you about 10 points.
And I put Doug Baldwin number 7. And then I get kind of worried about the list after this. I actually put Jordy Nelson 8. I don't know where'd you put Jordy?
I have Jordan at 13.
I see. I had him down there too. I moved him up again afterwards, after looking at some of these players and not liking them. And again, I guess.
Well, I understand that, but I don't feel comfortable.
No,
with that
I don't either. And I guess where some of it comes from is the Lions fan in me.
Just hoping.
No, it's just like it's going to happen against them.
You're right. Exactly.
They're going against the Lions on Monday night. I mean, come on. They'll
figure out a way to do it.
Like Nelson's going to get 1 big touchdown, and that's going to be, and they'll embarrass the Lions and have a big week. But again, I don't like I have Tyreek Hill number 9. I have Demaryius Thomas number 10. And I don't like those either. But this is what happens on bye weeks and when players aren't performing. And what do you got to round out your top 10?
I actually have Michael Crabtree at 7. I like him a little bit better than the other guys. I have Tyreek Hill at number 8, Baldwin at 9, and then Amari Cooper at number 10. I feel like that's a little high. But at this point, I'd almost take he's been improving. And so I gotta put him up there because after that, I have Kelvin Benjamin, Demaryius Thomas, and then Jordy Nelson, which is, iffy at best.
Yeah, I got Kelvin Benjamin 11 as well. Crabtree and Cooper are 12 and 13 for me. Still, you're playing them, and then Fuller 14. And so we're pretty much, I think, have about the same guys there when you look at the top 14-ish. Yeah. My 15th is Golden Tate. Pretty solid week. And I go Alshon, Jarvis Landry, actually. I don't really know why. Larry Fitzgerald. Emmanuel Sanders, if he can come back from his injury, I think he'll be fine there. And then I'm actually going to put Devontae Parker here at 20. I don't know. I have a Miami receiver 17 and 20. It's probably way too high, but Oakland's not a very good pass defense. And if Parker's out there, maybe Cutler comes back. Maybe they'll do something a little bit more. But not excited about it. But Parker, I really want to see something from Parker. And hopefully if he's healthy, he can actually get out there and do something, worthwhile. Be nice to see from him. Any other guys here stand out for you? Interested in?
Yeah, I guess outside of what you said, I was similar, but obviously I have Will Fuller in there and all that good stuff. But I think the one that stands out to me is I have Marvin Jones at number 16.
Okay.
And I have Tate at number 20 at the moment.
Switched him. Yeah,
I do, but I like Marvin Jones more at the moment. He's been kind of trending up for me, and he had a really good over 100 yards last game. I think he is one, especially this week. I like him over a lot of other guys.
Breaking news, Jeff. Zeke is suspended.
You messing with me?
No, it looks like he's.
Is he going to get all 6 games? What's it telling me?
Basically what I'm seeing here, now this is going to be old news to the people listening to this, but they're basically saying that they've denied his injunction, so the NFL's suspension is, back in effect. So Zeke, 6 games.
Oh, that's amazing.
Crazy. So Kareem Hunt's our number 1 running back for the week, right?
Oh, yeah.
So
well, this is the big question, and I didn't give you any time to think about this, but obviously Morris, McFadden.
Yeah. Oh man.
Who are you leaning towards? How high do they go?
Let's play with the ranks right now. I'm jumping back over to running back. I'm done with wide receiver anyway. I'm gonna jump over here to running back. Let's see. This. No more Zeke. Goodbye, Zeke. Watch, this is just probably fake news or something. I don't know. All right, let me play with this a little bit here. Let me find Alfred Morris, who before this, he was ranked at 61st for me. I actually did have him out there. Alfred Morris. Let's see. Who's the matchup here? Kansas City. Okay. Oh, God, I don't know what to do with this, Jeff. I don't know what to do with these two. So what I'm going to do is...
It's going to throw me off really bad.
They're going to go right next to each other in my ranks. That's what's going to end up happening.
Where are you going to put them? My guess is you're going to throw them in at like number 20?
I was actually looking at number 19.
Yeah, I could have called that one.
It's kind of where it gets, ugly there. And I'm going to put, this is how I'm going to do it. This is a cop-out for this week because I don't know what to think. Alfred Morris, 19. Darren McFadden, 20. What are you thinking?
Yeah, I think I'm totally buying into the McFadden idea. I just like him better. So I'm going to have McFadden, and I can't go as high as I want to, obviously, but I'm going to put Morris at number 22, and I'm going to put McFadden at number, we'll say 18. So he'll be right below Alex Collins, and one of them definitely will outscore these guys, but I don't want to overhype one of them because I don't really know how this is going to be broken up at the moment.
Yep. Yes. Oh, man, this is going to be interesting to see how it plays out. This is going to make for a very interesting situation. So,
I feel like a homer too. I had McFadden, so I've been waiting for this day.
And in our league, Morris and McFadden are both picked up. So, yeah, not much we can do about it. Yep. So, I'm gonna kick myself because I released Morris and McFadden in another league we have. It's a disappointing day. I'm a Zeke owner too, Jeff. I didn't listen to my own advice. I didn't have time to pick them up. But oh well. All right. So that's running backs. Back over to wide receivers. Probably not much here anymore. We're down the list. Not too excited about a lot of these guys. Let's say, what about Robbie Anderson? Where do you put Robbie Anderson wide receiver wise this week? Because we talked about him in the waiver show. He's been kind of consistent. Did he make your list anywhere decently higher than normal?
Yeah, he did, actually. I have him all the way at number 23.
I have him 24th, so he's actually one spot ahead of T.Y. Hilton, who's been kind of a disappointment.
Yeah, he has. I can't believe I'm saying it. I have Deshaun Jackson in between those two. I have Deshaun Jackson over T.Y. Hilton. In what world is that okay?
No, it's crazy, right? What about Sammy Watkins? That's a name from the past, huh? God,
Sammy. I mean, yeah, you'll probably be proud of me that I don't have him lower, but I actually have him at number 34.
He's 35th for me.
I love when you have him lower than me.
It's just disappointing that. All right, I'm done with wide receivers. Let's finish it up with tight ends here. See what we got. Number 1 tight end for the week. It's either one of 2 options. Which one is it?
I'm assuming it's healthy, but I'm going Kelsey.
Yeah, I put Kelsey 1. Zach Ertz 2. I don't care that he's playing Denver.
That's why. Otherwise, I think I probably would have leaned Ertz, but Denver is still rough. But I gotta go with the consistent guy. So who do you have rounding out? Who's 3, 4, and 5 for you?
Number 3 is Jimmy Graham. 4, Evan Ingram. And 5, Cameron Brate. I don't know what else to do there. So what do you got there for the top 5?
Not even joking with you. And I know that we're way high on Evan Ingram, but I have the exact same guys. I have Jimmy Graham, Evan Ingram, Cameron Brate.
Yeah.
And Cameron Brate was the one that, or Evan Ingram, I thought it was going to be way higher than you because I know we're higher than most people. Where do you have Jack Doyle after his last game?
I put him 9th.
Okay, I have him 7th. I was a little reactionary, but when I look at who else is on here, I'm not impressed.
No, not at all.
I'd rather go that route because I think a little bit of a rapport. He had a lot of catches. I like that.
Yep.
Anyone else jumping up on your list that is not normally up there?
Not really, no. I mean, Delaney Walker's 6 if he's healthy. Jason Witten, Austin Seferian-Jenkins, Jack Doyle, and then Jared Cook, actually, number 10.
Okay. And I have a little bit different order, but at the same time, the only person that really stands out that's different is I have Austin Hooper finishing at 10.
Yep, I have him 11.
Okay.
Yep. And Jordan Reed, what are you doing with Jordan Reed? It looks like he's going to not be playing anyway. So if he was playing, I think it's possible he's going to be out. As of right now, I still had him in my ranks.
Yeah, but I did too, and I just don't trust him no matter what now. So he's at number 14 for me, and that was even with him starting. I just kind of lost all faith.
I think he's number 13 for me. Yeah. I need to see more than 1 week of him doing something before I crush again.
Yeah, exactly. I just not a whole lot, going behind him at the moment.
Yep. All right, I think that's it for tight ends. It for the rankings. It's an ugly week. This is one of the tough bye weeks right here. So I don't think it gets much worse than this. I think after this there's still bye weeks, but maybe we'll have, it'll get a little better as we go on here. But I think that'll do it. We'll be back tomorrow. 1 more episode or 2 more episodes for the week, but we'll be back tomorrow. Talk to you guys then.